Hi, Ross. Beautiful morning. It was kind of frozen, but warming up really nice. I was thinking about what I was going to talk about today, and it seems like my last couple of videos were full of a lot of doom and gloom, maybe. So I thought I'd talk about what got me to retirement, my career. I was an electronics technician and an engineer for, I guess, 40 years. I started out, gosh, this is back in the early 70s. I got a job at a TV shop and I just fell in love with electronics. I couldn't work on anything, but I learned a lot about components. Mr. DeVito and his TV shop. That's back when, they had these huge console TVs. Sometimes they had stereos integrated into them, but they all weighed a ton. So, anyway, I got out of high school and I just did not want to go to college. I had enough of school for a while. I wanted to do something, so I joined the Marines. And joining the Marines, I my test scores were good enough to get me into electronics, which is exactly what I wanted. So I went through boot camp and then I went through an electronics school, which was about 5 months of getting a drink out of a fire hose, if you will. You got information crammed into you, and if you flunked out, you went to motor transport or the grunts or some such. You lost your contract. Oh, anyway, I did pretty well in school. I just really took well to electronics. Worked on avionics for the A6E aircraft. That was this old kind of ugly thing that was a very, very spectacular attack aircraft. And yeah, it was pretty cool stuff. I was this 19-year-old kid working on all this multi-million-dollar gear and just having a blast. I was in the service during the Carter administration, and we were flat broke. There was not enough money to do anything. When my enlistment came up in '80, I thought, well, shit, this isn't going anywhere. I'm just going to get out and use all my training. And I got out um, right after I did. The early 80s was very similar to what's going on now. The economy was just stagnant, no jobs, no money. It was just one thing after another. I worked day labor for a while. I did whatever I needed to do until about 2 years later, I got myself into a some company that made power supplies. I remember them. Worked with them for about 2 years. Got a job in a stereo service center, which was pretty cool. This is back in the days of all the high-end stuff like Pioneer, Kenwood, Onkyo, Mitsubishi, Nakamichi. God, it was just the glory days of stereo. And I learned a lot working on that stuff. And then I got myself a job with a manufacturer who made robotics. Learned about robotics. And it was, that's just how things continually went for me as I just kept getting these better and better jobs. And I finally made my way into, as a engineering technician. I worked with engineers, prototype their designs, debug designs. I got into drafting schematics and laying out PC boards. And then finally at the end of my career, I was actually driving my own projects and working as an engineer. And it was about, I guess, 2014 that, it was after the big 2008 adjustment crash, whatever the hell you want to call it. The uh, whole lay of the land in the in manufacturing, electronics, all these high-end industries really changed. I mean, salaries dropped to half what they were pre '08, And then I started running into this problem where I was working as an engineer, but I didn't have a bachelor's. I didn't have a diploma. The paper ceiling, they call it. I had gone as far as I could go, and it kind of got me to a place where nobody wanted to hire me because they could get two engineers for the salary of one senior technician. What do you want to do? So I kind of read the writing on the wall. I decided to retire early, and after that, I still worked in some electronic stuff, but so it was an absolute great career. I loved what I did. I remember when I was a kid. I guess I was 10 years old. That's when Apollo 11 landed on the moon. And when they're flying to the moon, they were using this thing called a computer. And I said, wow, I got to find out what this computer shit is. So, it started there, and it just never stopped. Actually, I'm thinking of starting a channel where doing some talks on electronics and some other things just to keep myself fresh. And I know there's a lot of people out there that are interested. If you're a young person today, getting into electronics, especially the way things are, um, it's a really great career. Um, I have absolutely no complaint. I was very fortunate to. I was one of those people who truly loved going to work on a daily basis, for the most part. Of course, the politics of companies and working with the sales staff. It's just, but that's life. It's full of people, and they all have different opinions. How about that? So anyway, yeah, I wanted to keep it a little lighter today and do something that a little different. I had a great career and absolutely no regrets. Yeah, there's a lot of other things I would have liked to do, but I guess you can only choose one thing as a career. And anyway, I hope you all are having a great day. Things are really looking up here. Got Suki out hunting down the squirrel army here. So that's it for me. Have a great day.